Hello, good afternoon.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is Arrow. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, doing well. Happy Wednesday.
Same to you. I got to ask you a question. You got to please be my teacher right now and share with me your style of poetry. I'm so fascinated by it.
I'm glad you are. I'm glad you are. That is the hope that at least, folks become fascinated and enthralled by the style and the content.
And it comes with a big discipline, doesn't it? Because, you've got to use real words and make sure that they touch each other.
Yes. It's, particularly with this kind of content and style, there's a lot of intentionality that goes into it. You have to be deliberate because there's only so many words that you have. And, so every word is not a fluff. There are no filler words, so it's a lot of intentionality indeed.
I think one of the reasons why I'm so attached to it is because my last book was based on using the fewest amount of words and don't complete a sentence with 10 words in it. Do it with 2 words. And yes. So I think that's why I'm drawn to this, because I'm going, man, I'm not so weird after all.
Indeed. I think you and I probably echo what Shakespeare said when he said brevity is the soul of wit. Ability to be concise and succinct and still be impactful. Yeah.
Wow. Now, the way that you use your words, it's very community driven. You are really speaking the street here.
Yep. It is, and that is intentional, right? Because at the same, there's that level of accessibility as well that, that I wanted in the work, being able to communicate what folks that I experienced the same thing might not be able to articulate in words, maybe as fluid as I might have been. Just been, being conscious of that, went a whole lot into the crafting.
Yeah, because we're always trying to get the younger generations to have a voice, and I don't think they realize that poetry can be a voice.
Yes. It's so interesting that you say that, right? Because if you go all the way to the ancient Greeks, ancient civilization, a lot of folks that we revere today are poets.
Yep.
You're talking about all the major writers and even the philosophers and all of the poets that we cite. A lot of them, was about words. I don't think there's anything more as powerful, the weapon of, words as weapons. So yeah, you've said it quite eloquently there.
Well, you sharing that story brings me back to when with Irish limericks. That right there, that was how they used their words and could get messages to other people, as well as the Sandinista War back in the 1990s, is that they used poetry as that way of getting the word out.
Yes. It's like, it's like code. It's code. Yes, you're right.
Now, to put a book together, because I'm going to be honest with you, I was on the Barnes & Noble tour for 2 years, going around to different stores and sitting down with other writers. One of the lessons that I did with them is that we wrote in the poetry section of the bookstore, because I wanted them to fall witness to who comes to look at those books.
Yes. Because there has to be some emotional resonance.
Yep.
For our people, and I think that is big, right? Because you cannot, have so much of an intellectual, resonance and then lose the emotionality, because the emotionality is what internalizes the experience. It's what binds the poet and the reader together. It's what pulls people in. Yeah. That's important.
I would love to look into the eyes of my readers. Just to, because I can have a conversation with anybody, but can I have that conversation through words?
Yes. That is important. Yeah. That is important, and I think a big part of crafting the words is being able to decide what to say and what to leave unsaid. Because at times the power is in the picture of, at times, that you paint without leaving the reader, to find their space in what you have chosen not to say.
Yeah.
So how do you make that balance of what is said and what is unsaid? I think it's it's the ultimate mystery.
How do you keep the perfectionist at bay?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. Because I could tell you, I revise this book for the every morning. I will wake up, and even when I released it, I still wasn't quite sure. I was like, man, I'll still go back. My editor had to tell me, Pelumi, you can't keep doing this. You cannot, but I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. I just don't know. It's because words, because as you sleep and you wake up, you get new inspiration, you get new ideas, and like, oh, well, this could be better, this could be said better, and you keep on tweaking, and then you go back. No, that, yes, it's the ultimate creator dilemma, right?
Well, isn't that because when you write about human experiences, what happens is the writer, the poet, you're also receiving from the universe. So it's once it finds that flow or that river, you're always going to be there.
Yes. And I think that is key because you are a channel, right? You are trying to pass on what it is you're receiving. And at times, when you receive it in that initial form, the way you interpret it might not be how it was meant to be interpreted. So at times you sit on it, you marinate on it, and it begins to be refined in the most eloquency, in the most impactful, in the most potent form of it. Yes, that's very accurate.
With my daily writing, which I've been doing for 30 years, I use a writing instrument, a pen, a fountain pen. Are you using a pen or are you on that computer?
So at times I found myself initially, at times I'll scribble with a pen, but what I did, because I realized at time, of course, the inspiration can catch you anywhere. At times, I could be at an event, I could be at a wedding, I could be anywhere. So what I've decided, because I do have a personal Slack, so I'll just pull up a draft to myself on Slack, like as though I was writing myself. So I will make the draft in there. So no matter where I was, whether I was, because at time, like I said, I'm not always home, so I can't always be in front of my computer. So having that access to myself, so I could just pull up the draft note and just amend or just tweak things, it's given me a lot of versatility in the writing process.
Do you ever get it to the point like songwriters do where they, something comes to you, you kind of put it away on the smartphone and then you come back to it 1 or 2 years later and going, oh, now, I'm in a different frame of mind now.
Yeah, it happens. Let me give you, there was a time, a couple of poems, sonatas in the book that I began to write one. And then I got an inspiration for another poem. And I'm like, oh, man, what do I do? So I just wrote the first 2 sentences of that new poem, just put it somewhere, and I continued with the one I was writing. And I didn't quite know how I would come back to the old one because it felt like just an inspiration that just came out of nowhere, and I did not know how to triangulate it, and so I just continued with the one I was writing, and there was later on, maybe a couple of weeks later, and I just went back and okay, all right, we can keep at this.
Don't you see these days and times that we're currently living in right now, that this is an opportunity for poets like yourself to make sure that we stay healthy and strong, and that when things, it's not if, it's when they go wrong, that we've got to be able to get that word out there?
That is the point of me writing Poeta, because even if you look at the title of the book, Poeta is Latin for poet. So because I strongly believe that a poet is a witness. The poet is a bearer of record of society. Right, the poet is the one that transmits like a channel between the divine and the mortal, right? So whether it's the good of society or the ills or the vices or the virtues of society, the poet stands in that chasm, right, between the dead and the living. And so whatever things are happening, we need to be able to articulate those kind of things, able to whether uplift or challenge or inspire. It's important. That is the ideal role of the poet. And like we've been saying throughout this conversation, if you look out through this, even if you look at the Roman epigrams, right? The epigrammatic, that was the core of it. That was the core of it, where the poet is the conscience of society. And that is the role that I see the poet as in when I began to write this book.
Wow. Where can people go to find more about you and give you some love?
Well, you can always I'm on Twitter. That the handle Pelumi Olatinpo. Also my website PelumiOlatinpo.com, where you could also purchase the book. The book is also available on Amazon on ebook and hardcover as well. Even though I'll say the hardcover, you have to hold it. It's a work of art.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God! Please tell me that you'll come back to the show in the future.
Oh, definitely. Please, as often as you would like to have me, I'll be, love to speak to you and your listeners.
Excellent. Will you be brilliant today? Okay.
Yeah, I will do. You did the same. Thank you so much.
Thank you.